Hi, welcome back to God Aware. This week I want to talk about plans versus purpose. Now, I was reading in 1 Kings chapter 17 about Elijah. Now, Elijah had just delivered a word to King Ahab saying that there was a drought coming and it wasn't going to rain. And then God directed him to go and live by this brook. And the ravens would come and give him food, and he would drink from the brook. So this was God directed that Elijah was definitely to move and go live by this brook. And then the Bible says the brook dried up. And after the brook dried up, God came and spoke again to Elijah and said, okay, now it's time to go to the town of Zarephath and to look for a widow that would help feed you. And it just struck me that, God's plan at the moment for Elijah was to move and live by this brook. Well, then the plan changed. And I just wondered, what if Elijah had mistaken the plan of God at that moment for his purpose? What if Elijah had been locked in to say, no, God, you said I am to live and to here by this brook, be fed by these ravens, and the brook is dried up, but God, you directed me here, so this is where I'm going to stay. You have to provide for me somehow. But Elijah was sensitive to God and listening to what he had to say, and he wasn't locked in to the plan of the season, but he was locked into his overall purpose in following God. And so my challenge for myself and us this week is not to get caught up in a plan of God for the moment, because plans change, but to be focused on the overall purpose of God for our lives. Many times in my life, it would have been easy to get locked into a plan that, no, God, you told me to move here, you told me to do this job, that you provided, this open door for me to do this for this time. But then when the season changed, it would have been tempting to try and hang on to something, but the plan of God had changed. But the overall purpose of my life is always moving towards God, and listening to Him and what He has to say. There's a quote that says that, God has an overall purpose for our lives, but He has many, many plans to get us to that purpose. And so this week I really want to focus on that. Don't get caught up in the plan of the moment that God has you in. He may have directed you to do it, but plans can change. Keep focused on your overall purpose. And just take Elijah's example, to be sensitive of when God says this season is over and it's time to move on, it's time to move on. Don't try to hang on to something that was a plan for a moment, but now the plan has changed. Until next time, God bless.